Let me ask you something. You take your meds on time. You've cleaned up your diet. So why does your morning number keep climbing? Here's what most people never find out. It may have nothing to do with willpower. The CDC reports that a huge share of adults over 50 are quietly low on the exact nutrients insulin needs to work. And diabetes drains them faster. That tingling in your feet, that afternoon crash, that number that won't budge. 3 specific vitamins could be the missing piece, and one of them you'll meet at number 3 is the one almost no doctor thinks to test. I'm Dr. Rubio Santner from Metabolic Health Simplified. Quick question before we dive in. What was your fasting number this morning? Drop it below, and let's start with number 1. Number 1, vitamin D. Now I know what you're thinking. Vitamin D, isn't that the bone one? That's exactly why it gets ignored. And for anyone watching their blood sugar, that's a costly little mistake. Deep inside your pancreas, the cells that pump out insulin are covered in tiny docking points, receptors that vitamin D plugs into. When your level runs low, those docks sit half empty, and the insulin signal starts to fade. Think of a dimmer switch. Vitamin D doesn't flip insulin on or off. It controls how brightly the signal shines. The level drops, the room dims, and your cells struggle to see the instruction to pull sugar out of your blood. That's insulin resistance, building quietly in the background. And here's the part that surprised even me. Harvard Medical School has flagged a steady link between low vitamin D and weaker insulin sensitivity. The CDC estimates a large share of older adults are running low and have no idea. So what does that feel like day to day? That bone-deep tiredness, aches you wrote off as just getting older, infections that keep circling back, blood sugar that won't cooperate no matter how careful you are. Quick catch though, most routine blood panels don't even include a vitamin D test, so you could be low right now and never know it. The good news? It's one of the simplest markers to check, and with your doctor's help, one of the easiest to bring back up. But here's where it gets interesting. Because there's a second vitamin almost nobody talks about, and your kidneys may be flushing it straight out of your body every time your sugar spikes. Number 2, thiamine, vitamin B1. Ever heard of it? Most people haven't. And that's the whole problem. Here's a myth I run into constantly. If I eat okay, I'm getting enough B1. Fair thought. But in a diabetic body, that logic quietly falls apart. And I'll show you why in a second. First, what does thiamine even do? Simple. It's the spark your cells use to turn glucose into actual energy. Picture a car with a full tank, but a worn-out spark plug. You turn the key, and nothing catches. The fuel's right there, it just won't ignite. That's your cells running low on B1. The sugar's in your blood, but it isn't getting burned, and some of it gets shunted into byproducts that can slowly wear down your nerves and tiny blood vessels. Now, here's the part that surprised me the first time I saw the data. Researchers publishing in the journal Diabetologia back in 2007 found that people with type 2 diabetes were running roughly 75% lower on thiamine than folks without it. Not a little low, dramatically low. Why? Every time your sugar spikes, your kidneys flush thiamine out faster than they should. So you can eat a decent diet and still fall behind. That stubborn fatigue, the foggy thinking, that early heaviness or tingling in your legs you keep blaming on age, B1 belongs in that conversation more than most people realize. The fix isn't dramatic, it's just knowing to look and letting your doctor help you rebuild it. But here's where things get personal. Because there's a third vitamin your doctor almost never tests for. And there's a common little pill that may be draining it out of millions of people every single morning. Number 3, vitamin B12. Let me tell you something. If I could check just one vitamin in a diabetic patient, only one, this might be it. And most doctors never look. This is the one I promised you at the very start. So let's get into why missing it costs so much. B12 has one job that matters enormously here. It helps build the protective coating that wraps around your nerves. Think of the plastic insulation on an electrical wire. Intact, the signal runs clean and fast. Frayed, the wire underneath gets exposed, and you get short circuits. Tingling, burning, numbness, pain. That frayed wire feeling in your hands and feet? Low B12 can quietly speed it up. Now you might be thinking, isn't that just my diabetic neuropathy? And here's the catch. Mayo Clinic points out that a B12 shortfall can produce nerve symptoms that mimic diabetic neuropathy and make it worse. So the damage gets blamed on diabetes alone, while a simple, fixable shortage hides underneath. And it's not rare. Research in journals like JAMA has shown how often this deficiency slips past everyone in older adults, because the signs are so easy to wave off. Fatigue, memory fog, balance trouble, even a sore, oddly smooth tongue nobody ever connects to a vitamin. But here's where it gets serious. Let me slow down for a second, because this next part matters. There's a diabetes medication, one that millions of people swallow every single morning, that may be quietly draining B12 out of your body year after year. No warning label loud enough to notice. And that is exactly the trap we're walking into next. Number 4, the metformin drain. This is the trap I promised you, and I need you to hear me clearly on this one, okay? Before anything else, do not stop your medication. Let me say it again, because it matters. Metformin is one of the safest, most trusted tools we have in diabetes care. Nothing I'm about to tell you is a reason to quit it. This is only about protecting yourself from a side effect most people are never warned about. Deal? Okay, here's what's actually happening. Metformin can quietly interfere with the way your gut absorbs B12. It blocks one small calcium-dependent step way down in your small intestine. Think of a key that fits the lock, but turns just a little too stiff. Once in a while, no big deal. But month after month, year after year, less and less B12 makes it through the door. And this isn't fringe science. Here's the part that surprised me. The American Diabetes Association itself recognizes long-term metformin use as a cause of B12 deficiency, and actually recommends periodic checking, especially if you've been on it for several years or you're on a higher dose. You might be wondering why nobody told you this. Honestly, because the symptoms, fatigue, numbness, brain fog, look identical to diabetes itself, so they get blamed on the disease and the real cause slips by. That's the cruel little twist here. The pill protecting one part of your health may be masking a shortfall, quietly hurting another. So what do you actually do? Not panic, not quit. Just one simple conversation with your doctor. Can we check my B12? And correct it if needed. That one question can protect your blood sugar and your nerves at the same time. But that's not even the sneakiest trap, because the next one is hiding somewhere you'd never suspect, right on your dinner plate. Number 5, the sugar burn. Okay, this one stings a little, because the trap is hiding right inside the food itself. Picture this. It's evening. You've had a long day, and there's white bread or a little pasta, maybe something sweet on the plate. Feels harmless, right? Comforting even. Here's what most people never realize. Every time you eat refined carbs and sugar, your body has to spend thiamine and magnesium just to process them. Read that again. The very thing spiking your blood sugar is also burning through the nutrients that help you handle blood sugar. Let me make this simple. Imagine 2 workers on a loading dock. Thiamine and magnesium, and glucose is the cargo. A little cargo, they handle it, easy. But a flood of refined carbs, soda, pastries, sugary cereal buries the dock. The workers get run ragged, and every shift burns through more of them than your diet puts back. Over time, the crew thins out, and nobody replaces them. This isn't a scare tactic, it's basic biochemistry. Johns Hopkins Medicine has long pointed out how diets heavy in refined carbs drive both inflammation and nutrient loss. Thiamine and magnesium are among the first to go because they're spent directly in breaking that sugar down. So, here's the quiet double hit. A high-sugar diet can actually deepen the very shortfalls we talked about in the first 3 chapters. Most people never see it coming. Now, I'm not going to tell you to eat a perfect diet. Nobody does. But even gently shifting toward whole foods, a little more fiber, protein, healthy fat, slows that burn and gives your reserves a chance to recover. Small trade, big difference. But here's the twist that catches even the careful people, the ones already taking their vitamins every day. Because you can do everything right and still absorb almost none of it. Number 6, the absorption mistake. And honestly, this one's a little heartbreaking because it catches the people who are actually trying. If that's you, the one who bought the vitamins, who takes them faithfully every single morning, I want you to hear this clearly. You did nothing wrong. Nobody told you the rest of the story. Here's the catch. You can swallow the exact right nutrient every day, like clockwork, and still absorb only a fraction of it if the form or the timing is off. The number on the label? That's not the number reaching your blood. Let me show you what I mean. Take vitamin D. It's fat-soluble. That means it needs a little dietary fat riding alongside it to actually absorb. So swallowing it first thing in the morning with nothing but a glass of water, that's like trying to melt butter in a cold cup of coffee. Most of it just slides right through, untouched. Now pair that same pill with a meal that has some healthy fat, and absorption climbs dramatically. Same pill, same dose, completely different result, and form matters just as much. Mayo Clinic points out that your body handles different forms of a nutrient very differently. With B12, for example, how much actually crosses into your bloodstream can swing widely depending on the form and the dose. A big, impressive number on the bottle means very little if most of it walks straight out the door. You might be thinking, so that's why I felt nothing. Exactly. This is why people supplement for months, notice zero change, and quietly conclude the vitamin just doesn't work for me. But the vitamin was never the problem. The delivery was. So don't just ask what to take. Ask how and when. One conversation with your doctor or pharmacist can turn a wasted dose into one your body can finally use. And yet, there's one last trap, and it's the one where trying too hard actually backfires. Number 7, the overdose trap. So, by now you might be thinking something totally reasonable. Okay, if these 3 are this important, I'll just take a lot of them. More is better, right? I get it. It feels like common sense. But here's the catch that trips up the most motivated people of all. With certain vitamins, more isn't safer. More can quietly turn against you. Let me show you the split, because it's the key to this whole thing. Some vitamins are water-soluble, like B1 and B12. Take a bit extra, and your body mostly rinses the surplus out. No harm done. But others, like vitamin D, are fat-soluble, and those don't rinse away. They build up, they get stored in your tissues, and they stay. Picture a bathtub with a slow drain. A steady trickle? Perfectly fine. But crank that faucet wide open for months, and the water climbs past the edge. That overflow, that's where the trouble starts. And this isn't guesswork. The NIH sets clear upper limits precisely because very high, unsupervised doses of fat-soluble vitamins can pile up to harmful levels over time. Now here's the twist that really gets me. Cleveland Clinic has noted that even chronically high doses of certain B vitamins, taken carelessly, can actually trigger nerve symptoms. Tingling, numbness, read that again, the exact thing you are trying to fix. Think about how cruel that is. Someone chasing better nerve health, popping megadoses, convinced their diabetes is getting worse when it's the supplement doing it. So here's the honest truth. Correcting a real shortfall? Smart. Blindly piling on? Guessing at big numbers? That's not brave. That's just risky. Stay in the tested, doctor-guided range, and you get the benefit without the backfire. Okay, you've met the 3 heroes. You've dodged 4 traps. So how do you actually put this together safely in real life? Number 8, the metabolic stack. All right? This is the payoff, where everything we've covered finally clicks into place. Because here's the thing nobody tells you. These 3 nutrients don't work alone. They work as a team. And knowing how to combine them safely is what separates guessing from actually supporting your body. Let me paint you a picture. Think of an orchestra. Vitamin D sets the tempo for insulin sensitivity. Thiamine powers the energy section, turning fuel into usable power. And B12 keeps the wiring, your nerves, clean and conducting. One instrument alone sounds thin, but together, tuned properly, that's harmony. Now here's the golden rule that ties this whole video together. Write it down if you have to. Test, don't guess. Harvard Medical School says it plainly. Measure before you supplement. A simple blood panel shows you exactly where you stand, instead of leaving you to gamble in the dark. And the American Diabetes Association builds its entire philosophy around one word: individualized. What your neighbor needs might be completely wrong for you. That's why your doctor isn't optional here. They're the foundation. And one more thing, the most important one maybe, food comes first. Always. Whole foods deliver these nutrients wrapped in fiber, minerals, and cofactors that a lone pill can never fully copy. Supplements are there to fill a proven gap, not to replace a good plate of food. So here's your simple game plan. Ask your doctor to test your levels. Correct any real shortfalls with the right form at the right time. Lean on whole foods and respect the safe ceiling. Do that, and you give your body the one thing it's been quietly asking for this whole time. Let's bring this home. You came here with a simple, frustrating question. Why isn't my effort working? Why won't these numbers move? And now you know. It may never have been about effort at all. It may have been 3 quiet nutrients your body was running short on, and a handful of hidden traps draining them faster than you could keep up. Vitamin D, keeping your insulin signal bright. Thiamine, the spark that turns fuel into energy. B12, the insulation guarding every nerve. And those 4 traps, the medication drain, the sugar burn, the wasted dose, the overdose gamble, standing quietly between you and feeling like yourself again. Here's what I want you to walk away with. Your body isn't broken. It never was. It's been asking for something specific this whole time. And now, finally, you know how to listen and how to work with your doctor to answer it. If understanding your health this way, the way no one quite explained before, means something to you, then stay with me. Subscribe, and every week we'll uncover one more hidden piece of this puzzle together. And speaking of the next piece, there's one mineral I deliberately left off today's list, and it may quietly control your blood sugar more powerfully than any vitamin we just talked about. It's playing right now. Go watch it before your next meal.